The TP-Link Archer C9, aka the AC1900, built as a budget-friendly solution for the everyday household. But with the lower price comes a few sacrifices. In today's video, I'm going to check out its performance and try to get a better idea of what it's capable of. Before I go any further, you should know that this review is one of a three-part series that I'm testing out with different routers from TP-Link. Today I'll be comparing this model with its bigger brother, the C3150. If you want to see more in-depth reviews on the Archer C3150 or C5400 routers, I will link to those videos in the cards above and the description below as they're uploaded. And as I did with the other routers, I will start off with a few key selling points for this model. The Archer C9 is a dual-band gigabit router with support for the latest AC standard. It has 3 external adjustable and removable antennas. It does have a basic design to it, but the nice white gloss finish makes it stand out just a little bit more. Inside, we get a dual-core 1 GHz processor and 2 wireless bands that can work simultaneously to achieve 1.9 gigabits per second transfer speeds. On the back and the sides, you get your standard WAN port with 4 1 gigabit ports to connect devices to your network. You also get 2 USB ports, one being USB 2.0 and the other 3.0. The C9 does still support beamforming like its bigger brother that helps focus your wireless signal in the direction of your devices, but it does lose the added bonus of the Nitro QAM that the C31 and the C5400 has, which boosts its overall wireless performance by 25%. It also loses that famous MU-MIMO technology that allows you to talk with multiple devices at once without having to bounce back and forth between clients. As for built-in features though, it does have some of the basics. This includes things like parental control, guest network, dynamic DNS, print server, and support for an external USB drive. However, it lacks the support for some advanced options like 4G USB ISP failover, VPN server support, and some security features. But with all that said, the big thing that matters is how it performs for the everyday user. Now, this is going to vary, of course, for each user, but I set up a few testing points in my house that I've used on the other models to judge their abilities. I will directly compare its speed with that of the next model up, as I did with the previous videos as a reference. So to jump right in, I have to get a baseline number. I do this by sitting right in front of the router and using my iPhone 7 app to see what kind of speeds I can achieve. With the Archer C9, I was able to hit a range of about 400 to 450 megabits per second. This compared to the C3150 that reached about 460 to 490. The first real and most brutal test comes from me going all the way to the farthest corner of my house. And this is a test that sees this router really struggle to maintain even 5 to 10 megabits per second. Kind of a disappointment considering the next model up ranges from 4 to 25 megabits per second. But honestly, both routers kind of struggle at this distance. It's not until you get to the C5400 that you start to get some really good numbers. My next test is a little bit more forgiving, being only about 45 feet away and a little bit more realistic to everyday use, which is in my master bathroom. And I was getting some pretty decent speeds at about 130 to 160 megabits per second, while the C3150, I was able to get 150 to 190. For a mid-range test, this actually was not that bad because there are a few times where it would spike up a little and get higher. But I was trying to report the most consistent numbers that I could achieve, ignoring the spikes that go drastically above or below that line. As for the final test, I go to my dining room table. It sits directly above the routers and the next floor up. And this test was able to get about 380 to 415 megabits per second, compared of course to the C3150 that hit 400 to 430. So yes, the C9 is a budget-friendly router and its numbers kind of reflect that. It doesn't have the more advanced features of the higher tier models, and it doesn't look near as sexy as the C5400. But with all that in mind, I can't ignore the fact that throughout all but one of these tests, the transfer rates were far beyond the normal speeds of a regular broadband connection, meaning that the only time I might come across the bottleneck is when I wanted to transfer files between computers within my home network. But it's also good to remember that this is not a router built for a busy home. The more clients that you throw at it, the slower it's going to go, most notably during the times when each of those clients are going to be demanding a lot of bandwidth. Now I found this router at the time of this video on Amazon for only $130. I feel like with the speed it offers and the feature it has, it may be worth the money to a basic home user. But if I had to make a recommendation, I would say that it might be a good idea to consider spending a little bit more money to get a router that will give you some breathing room to grow. The C3150, for example, doesn't cost a lot more, but it offers a much better way to handle multiple clients at the same time. However, if you don't have a heavy load on your network, even with a larger number of clients, then you probably won't notice any limitations of speed. Wi-Fi is still pretty good at balancing bandwidth between multiple clients, so unless they're all screaming for data, you should be okay. For more information on the TP-Link Archer C9 router, along with the most current pricing, I will provide links in the description for you to check out. And if you want to see any of my other videos and reviews on the higher tier models, I will link to those in the cards above and the description below as well. Make sure though to like and subscribe because I plan on hosting a giveaway as soon as I'm done with all of my tests. So you might actually have a chance at getting a free router if you subscribe. As always, thank you for watching and have a great day.